Welcome to I Read It, where we feature a new cool story every day. Subscribe to the channel and tap the notifications bell for new content. In this story, stark raving sober tells us how a lady said her child needed to go to the hospital. Now, as a walk-in clinic nurse, I am used to a lot of entitlement from patients, those who believe that they can jump the line of other people who have been waiting 5+ hours to see the doctor simply because their symptoms are more important. Those that don't understand that when we say that we have closed registration early in order to be able to close at our official time of 9:30 p.m. it means that they can't be seen even if it is only 8 p.m. when they come in, those that have become verbally, physically, and sexually abusive towards me if they don't get their way. A lot of the doctors that worked with me seem to have a lot when faced with patients' ire. So if I told the patients that they couldn't be seen due to the clinic policy of wanting its employees to actually get sleep before having to come back in the next morning, they would attempt to go around me and appeal to the doctor who would inevitably cave. This angered me on a lot of levels. Firstly, these doctors were simply rewarding this disgustingly selfish behavior by capitulating. Secondly, they were lending credence to the belief that a lot of patients had, I was a mere subordinate to the doctor and not my own autonomous practitioner. Thirdly, I was nurse manager of this clinic. The doctors were on call at the behest of the clinic and as such, did not technically have authority upon our hours as nursing staff and receptionists. Fourthly, we are supposed to act as a united team. So, one particularly trying night, a lady came in with her toddler child. She came in at around 8:45, and we still had another 2 hours of people waiting to be seen. We had closed registration at 6 p.m. and were not accepting any new patients. I am in the back of the clinic performing a wound cleaning when the receptionist calls me and asks me to come up front as there is an aggressive patient demanding their child to be seen. So, I head out to the front. The lady is standing at the desk, arms folded, snapping at her child to sit still. I glance at the child, who is sitting on a chair, swinging their legs and babbling away happily to anyone who will listen. Eyes bright, smiling, laughing. Doesn't look unwell, I think to myself as a cursory assessment. As soon as the lady sees me with my stethoscope, she launches her tirade. "Doctor, my child is extremely unwell. She has asthma and can barely breathe. She needs to be seen immediately." I glance deadpan back at the child who is singing loudly to herself. I look back to the lady. "She doesn't seem to be in distress, ma'am." The lady tenses up and stares at me as though I am a complete freaking moron. "Well, where the hell did you go to medical school?" she inquires with the auditory level of banshee. Kids present very differently than adults when they can't breathe. "What are you, 12? I walk over to the child and place my hand gently on her back. I count her respirations as she falls quiet under my touch and I observe her scapulae as they expand and contract, indicating full chest expansion. I listen to the smooth sounds of her inspiration and expiration audible even without a stethoscope. I observe the moistness of her conjunctiva as she rubs her eyes, and I see the glistening wetness of her tongue as she licks her lips. She's well hydrated. "I'm not a doctor, I am a nurse," I say, as I plug my stethoscope into my ears and begin to listen to the child's lung fields. "Of course you don't know what you're doing," she yells. "I didn't bring my old child to see some stupid nurse, I demand to see a doctor. Now. She needs to go to the hospital and if she gets worse, I'll have your license." Child's lung sounds are perfect. I lean down and smile at the child. "How are you feeling?" I ask her. She wants my stethoscope. I hand it to her. "I'm bored," she says, understandably. I look to the lady. "Registration closed some time ago because as you can see, we have many patients to see and will end up being here past closing. I am afraid that we cannot see your child today. Based on my physical assessment, I cannot triage her up the line as she does not seem to be in respiratory distress. There are several hospitals close by that I can direct you to if you wish." A slow purple flush begins to crawl over her features. I smile blandly at her as I await the inevitable storm about to erupt. She walks up to me and leans into my face. I stand my ground, staring noncommittally back. The rest of the waiting room is staring intently. "Get the freaking doctor. The doctor is seeing patients, ma'am." I cannot interrupt him. "My child is going to die because of you, you disgusting, low-educated piece of filth. Get the freaking doctor." I am about to repeat my previous statement when I suddenly hear a slight cough behind me. It's the doctor. Internally, I sag. Great. He's going to usher them in, and I get to look like an idiot in front of everyone again. "What seems to be the problem?" he asks, staring quizzically at the lady. She rushes over to him and clings to his arm. "Oh, thank God, doctor. My child. She has asthma. She has run out of her puffers and is in an attack. This nurse refused to let her see you. The doctor stands there, resolute, and disentangles his arm from her vice grip. He takes a cursory glance at the child who has begun delightedly listening to her own stomach with my stethoscope. He then walks over to me. Now this is a doctor whom I have not met before tonight. I prepare for the worst. Nurse. I assumed you performed triage. I nod. Yes, I say. I do not see any evidence of respiratory distress. Lung sounds? Non-adventitious. I speak. Fancy way of saying clear as frick. Mucous membranes? Fancy way of asking about hydration status. Pink moist. Capillary refill? Fancy way of asking about blood flow. Immediate. The doctor turns towards the lady. And this is when I realize that he has been watching this entire exchange from the beginning. I am calling you an ambulance. The lady blinks. What? Why? You said that she needed to go to the hospital. If that is what you think, you know your child better than I do. I'd rather be safe than sorry. The lady looks nonplussed. But, the nurse said that she isn't in distress. The doctor smiles humorlessly. What, this nurse right here? The one you were accusing of negligence and lack of knowledge? I trust this nurse's assessments. She has been very perceptive and professional for the long night that I have had the fortune to work with her. However, she, like myself, cannot know the intricacies of your child's history. It would be negligence indeed if we were to dismiss your concerns as a parent. Nurse, please call the ambulance. Unable to keep the eating grin off of my face, I walk to the phone. The lady is trying to argue with the doctor who is walking away. Best of luck to you, ma'am. I am sorry that you have had to wait so long, but it's best that we leave this to the professionals. And a shame it is, too, as this is flu season and all of the emergency departments are full to bursting with people waiting to be seen. Prepare for a very long wait. And with that, he returned to the examination rooms. I hung up after exiting the call with EMS. The lady was visibly shaking. A few smiles littered the faces of those watching. EMS should be here shortly. If your child's status worsens, please have my receptionist call me back out. Have a good night, ma'am. Vindication has never felt so sweet. What do you think about this story? Let me know in the comments section. Help us grow so more people will join us. Thank you for watching this video, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.